Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IAS classes. Let's begin our discussion on the current events of 12th April 2018. The first issue in news is an editorial regarding the new set of draft rules released by the Union Ministry for Environment, Forests and Climate Change under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. As we discussed yesterday, the new rules have lifted the ban on cattle trade as well as various other cumbersome regulations which were issued previously, like the one based on distance where the cattle markets could be set up or was prohibited 25 kilometers from the state border and 50 kilometers from the international border. This is a welcome move as the previous rules were criticized for restricting even legitimate animal trade and interfering with dietary habits of people due to the cumbersome paperwork and procedural requirements, which was seen by many as the ruling party's furthering of the cow protection agenda. Also, the ban imposed earlier was a non starter because regulating livestock trade was essentially a state subject, and many states had protested against the center's move to ban cattle trade. In this regard, the new guidelines issued, while removing the curbs on the sale of animals, also retains good provisions in the earlier notification aimed at barring cruelty in the treatment and transport of animals. This is a welcome step as even the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act recognizes explicitly that animals can be used as food for humans, and good governance is not only about regulating human and economic activities but also avoiding perceptions of sectarianism. Because, as we know, most of those employed in the cattle trade are either from the minority communities or those who constitute the most vulnerable and poorer sections of the society. Given the rising incidents of cow vigilantism, which had resulted in violence against these poorer sections, the new guidelines are a welcome move as was long demanded by various activists across the country. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the recent observation of the Supreme Court that consent of a bride to a marriage is an inherent part of Hindu marital law, and any marriage entered into without the bride's voluntary consent or after playing fraud with her is invalid. This has to be seen in conjunction with various other judgments in the recent past, like the ban on instant triple talaq, recognitions of women's right for admission into religious places of worship, right to choose his or her life partner in the Hadia case, the ruling against Khap Panchayats, which interfered with individual choices, etc. All these are very important from the examination perspective, and I request those who have missed it to go back and watch the same in my previous news analysis video. The final issue in news today is regarding the shifting of IPL matches out of Chennai due to various protests and disruption of traffic by fringe political outfits over the Kaveri issue in Chennai. What is worrying here is the protesters chose these matches to gain all India visibility, but one should also remember any sporting tournament is a very soft target for such disruptions and goes against the sportsmanship and sporting culture of the nation, as was highlighted by various social scientists. Therefore, the people should refrain from such actions and let the judicial process take its course for the fair distribution of river waters between the contending states. With that, I wrap up today's news analysis. Do share this content if you like it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.